Chapter 14, A Dangerous Dance. Hopefully you're all having a great day. A week later, the day of your ball has arrived. You review the final details. Your cup of tea sitting forgotten beside you, long grown cold. It's a relief so many people are attending tonight, but even if it's a success, Louise's reputation is still in doubt. Just then, Louise bursts into the room, waving a scrap of paper in the air. The prince said yes. He's coming tonight. His words, when we spoke, were so sweet. I could hardly believe them, but he truly does not hate me after all. I think, as a good sign, you shouldn't get your hopes up. That's a good sign. His attendance tonight will signify to all of society that he still holds our family's reputation in good stead. But more importantly, he may dance with me. Regardless of what happens with the prince tonight, Louise, my one goal is to free you from Lord Farrell's proposal. You settle in the armchair, racking your brain for some solution to your problems, when a footman enters the room. Pardon me, your grace, but the Vicomte de Nossit is waiting for you in the main parlor. The Vicomte is here to see me. Perhaps our fortunes are looking brighter after all. Taking a deep breath, you make your way to the parlor. The Vicomte immediately rises from the sofa, bowing with a flourish in your direction. Enchanté, Duchess. How is it possible that you grow more beautiful each time I see you? I'm afraid a lady never reveals her secrets, Vicomte. Then I suppose you also shall reveal the lurid details behind your sister's imminent engagement? Surely Louise cannot wish to tie herself down to a man like Lord Farrell. Why, even this potted plant is a more entertaining companion. I'm afraid Louise is in a terrible position. Though no fault of her own, Lord Farrell has comprised Louise. He seeks to take advantage of the situation. Mon Dieu! So the man is both a boor and a brute. At the very least, marrying Lord Farrell would preserve Louise's reputation, but her new position would likely ensure a life of ease, if not love. What would you say if I could offer a different solution? One that gives everyone involved exactly what they want? I would say it sounds too good to be true. My young cousin, Miss Cosette Moreau, has begged to attend your ball with me this evening. She's come to London specifically to find a wealthy Englishman to marry. Now, if Cosette was to be found with Lord Farrell in a compromising position of her own, an advance which she then returned, then Lord Farrell would be forced to propose to Cosette. But isn't that a scandal in the making for your cousin? By Duchess in France, such a thing would barely raise an eyebrow. But she will be trapped in an unhappy marriage. You speak as though she plans to remain here. Cosette is the one doing the trapping, and once she caught him in the marriage, she'll be free to live exactly how she chooses. Cosette could be the answer I'm seeking. No one deserves a comeuppance like for Lord Farrell. What I wouldn't give to beat him at his own game. The man will be no match for Cosette, I assure you. Before this evening is over, Lord Farrell will be caught in his own trap. It seems you certainly have thought of everything, Vicomte. You have my support. Fantastique! Of course! My brilliant plan will require some panache if we're to pull it off. Louise and I will do whatever is needed to ensure your success. I found that people are always more willing to listen to someone who appears to be as wealthy as they do reasonable. I've gone to the liberty of ordering something special for you to wear this evening. The Vicomte calls for a footman to bring in the gown he brought with him. You stare in awe at its magnificence. It's stunning and very French. We French have good taste, no? I think you will be radiant tonight. How better to shine as a host? Paint the town red, even though that's orange, but okay. Not long after, Campbell helps you dress. Return downstairs to show off the gown to Vicomte. You have an eye for fashion, Vicomte. Magnifique, Your Grace. It is even more beautiful than I could have predicted. May it allow us both to achieve our goals tonight. With a host as gorgeous as you, I have no doubt. The Vicomte makes his excuses and departs, leaving you to finish final preparations for the ball. Before you know it, all of high society is turned out for your ball. Even while worrying about Louise's future, you scan the bustling crowd for Nate's face. I wonder if he came. Even if things are tense between us, he can always put me at ease. But instead of him, you spot Cecilia. Approaching, she sets a hand on your arm warmly, her voice quiet. Given everything you've been dealing with, you've managed to pull off a stellar ball, Sophie. At this stage, I must take every opportunity to help my family's reputation. And every opportunity to draw every eye to you. Perhaps even a suit and tutors? I hope so, though we have not been speaking much this past week. Your luck's bound to change in a gown like that. But is what I'm hearing true? That Lord Farrell is planning to propose tonight? Yes, but... The Vicomte de Nocet is helping me. If all goes well planned, Lord Farrell will propose, but not to Louise. How I love a good scandal. Though speaking of Louise, it appears Prince Maxwell is headed straight for her now. Across the ballroom, the prince tiptoes towards the refreshment table. On the other side, Louise chats with an acquaintance when she catches sight of him gleefully meeting his gaze. Would you excuse me, my lady? There's someone I need to greet. The prince peers hopefully over the top of the punch bowl at Louise, distractingly setting his dance card down on the table. I do think it was ever so clever of you to give dance cards to the gentleman. I admit I wasn't quite sure about the idea, but now even the most forgetful gentleman can keep track of his own engagements. Before your sister can approach the prince, Lady Frost inconspicuously pushes her daughter in front of him.
Prince Maxwell, you'll remember my daughter Amelia. She is quite an accomplished pianist as well as a tolerable singer.
Louise practically wilts with discouragement, hanging her head and heads across the ballroom, not even realizing that Prince Maxwell's eyes remain on her. We promenaded together just last week. Yes, of course, a jolly good time. Can't Louise see that his dance card is right there? All she has to do is get her name on it. She needn't even interrupt his current discussion. It would be hard for her to see the dance card, let alone reach it, in such a crowded ballroom, but Prince Maxwell hasn't been able to keep his eyes off of her. She raises a hand to her chin, assessing the situation. Though if someone were to occupy the prince and the Frosts, it wouldn't be too challenging to take the card and write her name on it. You and her eye each other, grinning wickedly. What an interesting hypothetical. If Louise's name were to mysteriously find its way on a Prince Maxwell's dance card, Lady Frost couldn't claim his attention any longer, and we could ensure your sister gets a dance with him, hypothetically. This is a really dumb diamond choice, but okay. A marvelous idea, so simple and yet so effective. Cicely beams in pleasure, smiling smugly as she flounces out her skirts. Of course it's marvelous. I'm more than just a pretty face, you know. If we're to keep him occupied long enough to steal his dance card, we shall need something to use as a distraction. Something or someone. You scan the ballroom for a likely-looking candidate. At last your eyes fall on the perfect person. Ladies Cora, Nora, and Flora, Baron von Mark, Lord Harrell, 3 women, why not? Lord Farrell's sisters. Are you sure that's wise, considering the circumstances? It's hardly their fault that their brother is such an odious idiot. Besides, it's 3 distractions for the work of 1. I suppose you're right. They are rather sweet girls, if rather empty-headed. I just asked them to advise the prince on the newest fashions for gentlemen this season. I'm sure she will have many opinions on the subject. There's 3 of them. How I love your wicked mind, Sophie. While you distract the prince, I'll find Louise and place the dance card beside the punch bowl for you to discover. The whole thing should take a matter of minutes. We should agree on a signal beforehand so I know if you're successful. You both banged your heads in thought, trying to think of an appropriate sign. What if I pretend to swoon? I always found it quite an effective move. But what if you hit your head, or even worse, if the prince rushes to your aid? Then you better reach me first. Also, hit my head. This is not my first swoon. The signal thusly agreed upon. She happily sails off on her mission as you linger near the refreshment table waiting. I do hope this plan works out. Luckily, you don't have to wait long before she returns with the Farrell sisters in tow. Prince Maxwell, you should have mentioned your desire to dress fashionably. I beg your pardon? I thought I heard you wanted to look your best for a potential wife. You need not play coy with us. We consider ourselves experts in the matter. Mother, do something.
Excuse me, but the 4 of you are rudely interrupting our
There is a woman I've been eyeing. Perhaps your advice would be wise.
The gold trim on your jacket is sure to woo a lady. Understated, but tells her.
This is going better than anticipated. That's because, like I said, 3 is better than 1. As the group is distracted, you snatch the prince's forgotten dance card from the table. And in your haste, you nearly drop the card in a punch bowl, but catch it at the last second. Good heavens, I do not believe I am cut out for a life of crime. Practice makes perfect. You rush to Louise, grab her arm, pulling her out of the ballroom. Ow, where are you taking me? Can't you see I'm in the middle of lamenting my woes? Can't you see that you should maybe grow up, have a little bit of confidence, and go for what you want? Anyway, you hurriedly walk into the hallway to explain the plan. Her eyes grow wide with shock. I can't believe you would even think of such a thing, sister. Are you upset, Pat? If you want me to, I can put it back with the prince, none the wiser. I'm not upset, I didn't think of it first. Give me the card. Louise pores over the prince's dance card, thinking through the possibilities. There are so many choices, I could do anything I want. You should wait for the perfect piece, pick the first dance. Wait for the perfect piece. After all, this may be your only chance to dance with the prince. You should make the moment as special as you possibly can. Louise gasps, looking nearly overcome by excitement of it all. I'll find the most romantic vignette for us. Then, when we've grown old together and married, it will hold even more meaning for us. She scribbles her name down for the next vignette on both her and the prince's card. Now we should hurry back before the prince wonders where his card is. You part ways with Louise, then return to the freshman table and you inconspicuously drop the prince's dance card where he left it. Looks like our plan is still going as intended. Oh, you'll be sure to court her properly with that in mind. I appreciate your advice. I shall be sure to put it into practice. In that case, Your Highness, maybe it could interest you in the next dance, if you are not claimed. Feeling slightly ridiculous, you begin to wobble. Oh dear, I'm suddenly feeling very weak. You start to faint in such a way that your arm raises dramatically to your head to grab her attention. Oh dear, I'm losing my balance. Is Her Grace okay? A woman can only drag out a swoon for so long. Where are you, Cecily? You catch her eye, hoping that she remembers the signal. To your immense relief, she grabs the prince's card and hands it to him. Your Highness, I believe this belongs to you. Thank you. I don't know what I would have done without it, Miss Frost. I should have Prince Maxwell absolutely scans his card, but his eyes light up as he catches Louise's name. Actually, I promised you Lady Louise for an upcoming minuet. The prince makes his excuses and heads across the ballroom to find Louise. Are we still swooning? Oh, we're like still falling. Oh no, just as planned. He bows low to your sister before offering Louise's hand shyly as she takes it. Before long, they are moving across the dance floor in perfect harmony, your sister's face radiant with puppy love. Louise has never looked happier. That's all thanks to you. You glance at the waiting debutantes on the sidelines, snickering at their envious, longing looks. All thanks to us. And the Farrell sisters' fashion knowledge. You and Cecily share a laugh as Louise and the prince twirl happily past, lost to the world around them. I wish Nate could say this. I wonder where he could be. Across the room, a vicomte and a young woman catch your eye. You make your excuses to Cecily. This is the Duchess, cousin. Her eyes drift to your dress, taking every intricate detail in awe. No wonder your name has been spoken with such difference this evening. My first purchase as a wife will be a gown like yours. You must be Cosette. I'm exceedingly grateful to you and Lady Louise for this opportunity. And where is my future dear spouse? I believe Lord Farrell's in the garden now. We must act quickly before he musters the energy to propose to Lady Louise. Oh, he's the one wearing the purple coat, yes. I want to make sure I'm entrapping the correct leacher. Worry not. You're a beautiful unmarried woman he's never met. He'll immediately approach you, mouth agape and slobbering like a fool. My dream husband. Cosette adjusts her hair, strides out into your gardens with the confidence of a newly crowned royal. Now all we need is for Lady Saunders to catch them in the act herself. After they have discovered together, we can happen to chance upon the scene, maneuvering things in Cosette's favor, and Louise's, of course. You set off through the crowded ballroom, searching for Lady Saunders. At last you spot her in a corner, gossiping happily away with Amelia. Perfect. Even if Louise's rival must be forced to admit Louise's innocence, the rest of society is sure to follow suit. Lady Saunders, Miss Frost, I don't suppose either of you have seen Lord Farrell recently, have you? Are you certain he's not with your sister? Lady Adeline was sure she'd seen him heading towards the garden with a young lady. I assumed Louise, but my sister's dancing currently. A shame. Do you think Lord Farrell's promised to your sister? Oh, it's not what we planned. I fear the worst. Who knows what Lord Farrell may be up to under the cover of darkness? Unfortunately, my hostess duties require me to stay here in the ballroom, so I can't find out myself. A look of gleeful delight appears on both of their faces, their noses pricking at the scent of a scandal. Oh, as it happens, Your Grace, Miss Frost and I were just discussing taking a turn to the gardens. We can be sure nothing untoward happens. You have my sincerest gratitude. Rejoining the Vicomte, the two of you quickly locate Louise and ask her to follow you. Surprised, Louise obeys. But why ever are we going to the garden, sister? Just watch, Dove. With any luck, everything will soon become clear. Though, best be prepared to avert your eyes. Things could become quite scandalous for an English lady. Outside in the gardens, you find the perfect hiding spot to watch Lord Farrell and Cosette. The two sit scandalously close on one of the benches. You're so romantic this evening, Non. Everything about the moonlight always makes me feel ever so bold. It's not the only thing I like to feel. Is that? Now you understand why I brought you out here? Lord Farrell leans forward, attempting to press a kiss to Cosette's lips. She coyly turns her head away at the last moment. Monsieur Farrell, we can't. He presses one hand to her heart, emphasizing her heaving bosom, while Farrell licks his lips, eyeing her lavishly. yes we can. He presses forward once again, more urgently, with a dramatic cry. Cosette kisses him back, making a show of giving in to her passion.
My lord, yes, yes.
Lady Saunders steps indignantly from her hiding spot behind a pillar, Amelia close at her heels.
What sort of man makes a pass at another young lady on the same night he is planning to propose?
There's an explanation. Lord Farrell, I knew you were a villain. You are a vile creature of the worst possible order. Louise will attest that the man is a predator through and through. You turn expectantly towards your sister. Unfortunately, Louise appears to be so fascinated by the unfolding drama that she's completely missed your question. There's no other option for her. You tread heavily on Louise's foot. She cries out in unexpected pain. Ah! Why, just look how distraught my poor sister is. She can't even form words. How absolutely scandalous. My mother won't believe it. Cosette plays her part perfectly, drawing back from Lord Farrell with a look of exaggerated dismay.
Mon Dieu, you mean to say this gentleman was preparing to propose to another young lady?
It's true. Why, Lord Farrell could not have possibly made his intentions toward my sister more clear. Why, who could have expected such a surprising turn of events?
I don't understand. Only moments ago, Monsieur Farrell told me that he had an important question to ask.
I said no such thing. Clearly your word is not to be relied upon, Lord Farrell.
It's true. I only followed him into the garden because I was expecting a proposal of my own. Oh, I'll see that you get it. Clearly, Lord Farrell requires the calming influence of marriage.
If I am to be forced into marriage, it'll be with Lady Louise. Even Miss Cosette's assets are no match for Lady Louise's dowry. My sister deserves better than you. Louise turns to face Lord Farrell with an air of determination you've never seen before.
I may be innocent, Lord Farrell, but I am no fool. I won't be forced into an unwanted marriage when I have done nothing wrong. If this young lady is expecting a proposal from you, you are more than welcome to marry her. I'd rather marry a hamster.
It is decided. Lord Farrell will marry Cosette, and quickly.
But I've been bamboozled. I personally ensure Lord Farrell won't have the opportunity to ruin any more reputations before he reaches the altar.
You've barely made it back inside the ballroom before Louise pulls you aside, squealing in delight.
Thank you, sister. I was certain I was going to have to marry that awful man.
Louise, everything is right with the world again. It has certainly been a trying few days, but now that Lord Farrell is taken care of, you have nothing to worry about. If anything, we should pity the man. I am convinced Lady Saunders will not let him out of her sight until he is wed.
Shut up.
In fact, knowing her, she will probably walk him down the aisle herself.
Oh dear, I do hope the Vicomte cousin won't be too unhappy with Lord Farrell.
Oh, don't fret, Dove. Something tells me she will be just fine. You link arms with Louise, offering your sister a fond smile. You hope she never realizes just how close she came to disaster. Come, let's tell Mother the good news. Yeah, but before you can take a single step, two gentlemen approach you, bowing low in front of Louise. Good evening, Lady Louise. If your card is not yet full, may I have the pleasure of this dance? And perhaps I can dance with you after that one, shall we? Two men already interested. Our plan is already working. Sure enough, as Lord Knightley whisks Louise off to the dance floor, your guests are already buzzing with the news of Lord Farrell.
Oh, like I always said, breeding would tell. Why, just look at our beloved Sonny, or the Duchess of Sussington. One look at the Duchess in that magnificent gown, and you can realize Lord Farrell's quite beneath her family.
I do hope she doesn't try dressing poor Sonny to match me. Bedford's wife is looking rather fine this evening. Perhaps something to a story about Farrell after all. I suppose it has been a while since our Eton days.
Of course, I never doubted dear Louise for a moment. Her family has been so supportive as well. Maybe if you supported Louise from the start. I wish I had an older sister like the Duchess. Perhaps if I did, she would let me borrow that gown.
A tremendous sense of relief floods through you. Clearly, the tide of public opinion has turned to Louise's favor.
The Vicomte was right. Seeing my dress helped sway the crowd to my side.
As you reach for a glass of celebratory wine, your hand brushes another. You glance up to see Nate, a wave of pleasure crashing over you at the sight. Good evening, Duchess. Or should I say congratulations. I've missed quite a bit, haven't I?
I'll gladly fill you in. Come.
Not the first time that man's heard that. Listen, if you didn't giggle on today, you and Nate talk outside in the cool night air. With your crisis averted, the breeze feels more soothing than chilling. Or is that the warmth of his presence? It appears as though your evening has been quite triumphant.
My evening looks brighter with you here. I admit I've been hoping to see you all evening.
He raises his eyebrows, giving you a sensual look. A small shiver of heat runs through. And I as well, Duchess. Alas, I couldn't find you in the crowd. Have you considered the fact that your ball is too well attended? His lips quirk to one side, his smile making you weak in the knees. The little distance between you feels like a large chasm. All you want to do is close it, but you don't. I hadn't realized you become so well acquainted with the Vicomte since his visit.
As it turns out, we have rather shared interest in the matter.
As if on cue, the opening strains of a Viennese waltz from inside spills into the gardens. Unless you're hired musicians turned adventurous, this dance must be a Vicomte's request. After all, the waltz is rather scandalous, dancing so close to your partner, clinging to each other's bodies. Close at your shoulder, you peek inside at your confused-looking guest. When he speaks, there's a low, teasing tone to his voice that makes you shiver with anticipation. Would you risk the scandal of a waltz, Duchess?
And be the only ones on the dance floor, waltzing obscenely before all of London?
Nevertheless, you imagine what it would feel like to waltz with him. His hands around your waist, his body brushing heatedly against yours. We could dance deeper in your garden, just like when we first met. We could be as indecent as we like. I would like to waltz with you as long as it's somewhat decent and not against YouTube. Feeling emboldened by the night's success, you take his hand, letting him lead you deeper into the garden. The waltz music is faint now, but still audible. A wishing well how cruelly ironic.
Isn't isolation with me your greatest wish in this moment?
Moderate isolation. But even so, there's nothing stopping some guest from wandering out here. Despite his words, he places one hand on your waist, his fingers burning through the thin fabric of your gown.
You too are a guest as the host. It's my duty to indulge you in a dance.
You take his hand in yours, pulling him closer.
And as my tutor, it's your duty to show me something new.
Put your arm around my shoulder, Sophie. We shall need to hold each other tightly for this dance.
Yes, of course.
You reach up, lightly settling your hand against his shoulder. He smiles seductively at you. Is that the best you can do, Duchess? There's a challenge note to his voice that you can't resist. Feeling even bolder, you take a half step forward, reveling in his nearness to you. His scent washes over you, both familiar and intoxicating all at once. You've never been so close in public before, at least not that anyone knows.
Pray, is this better, Mr. Pippin?
At the memory of his lips upon yours, you can feel the heat rising furiously in your cheeks. He surveys your appearance, a knowing look in his eyes. Tell me, Sophie, what are you thinking of? You seem to have grown quite flush.
Nothing, I was simply trying to recall the steps of the dance.
His knowing smile grows even wider. He leans forward, his lips almost brushing your skin as he whispers softly in your ear. The soft exhilaration of his breath makes you go hot and cold all at once, your body crying out for more. Trust me, Duchess, I know exactly what I'm doing. He suddenly tightens his grip around your waist, pulling you scandalously close to him. And you're certain that no one will notice us like this? His breath warm against your sensitive skin. You hear what sounds like distant footsteps in the brush. You can hardly be made to care. What would you say if I told you everyone is watching us, Duchess? As he pulls you to the other side of the well, his sensual tone stirs something deep within you. You can feel your breath quicken in response, your bosom straining against your corset. I would admit the truth. And what exactly is the truth, Duchess? Holding his gaze, you slowly run your tongue across your bottom lip. He grows very still, his breath momentarily catching in his throat. You can't help enjoying the sense of power flooding through your veins. I would admit the thought of everyone watching us makes me feel... Swallows hard, hanging on your every word. Faced with this obvious lust, you can feel your own center dampening in response. Makes you feel what, Sophie? His voice is hoarse with desire, his words laced with need. Your pulse speeds beneath your wrists, warmth blooming between your legs. You find yourself shifting slightly forward, savoring the feel of your heavy skirts pressed against your womanhood. Makes me feel wanton. For a moment, you and him are lost in another entirely, until a pair of guests walk past you admiring the flowers, releasing you. Nate soothes you with a whisper. It's all right, Duchess. You're merely showing me around. Good thing Nate pulled away in time, because I wasn't going to. What has he done to me? Gathering himself once the couple has left, he leads you through the basic steps of the waltz, his hands light and his feet sure. Just remember to count, Duchess. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. He smiles, gently staring you through the dance. The press of his fingers against the small of your back makes you shiver. Excellent, Sophie. Just follow my lead. With pleasure. You allow yourself to be swept away by the seductive rhythm of the dance, your body reveling beneath his expert touch. Just like that, Duchess. As you turn and whirl to the music, you find yourself imagining his hand not just at your waist, but skimming over your body. He surveys your flushed appearance, clearly having similar thoughts. His thumb traces a small circle against your hip. Behind us, Nathaniel. You hear another guest plucking a blossom just on the other side of the brush. They haven't seen you now, but you fear you couldn't pull away if they had. Tell me, Duchess, if we were truly alone, where would you have me touch you? Oh, okay. Perhaps we shouldn't. Shouldn't what, Sophie? Shouldn't dance together? He twirls you around in another dizzying rush of music that you barely hear, but deeply feel. It's all too much, yet still not enough. You cling to him. The only steadying thing in the world is the garden and the entire world. Tell me more, Duchess. Tell me what you would do to me if we were alone. I would use my lips. I would trail a line of kisses down your neck to the hollow of your throat, tasting the salt of your skin the whole way. And then, close your eyes as you imagine it, trusting his steadying hand to lead you safely through the dance. In the soft darkness, you can feel the last of your inhibitions falling away. I would pull open your jacket, your shirt, slide my tongue to taste the hard planes of your chest. I trace my way downward with my mouth lower and lower until I reached your waist. Imagine the ways. Oh, okay. Basically, she do the nerdy or dirty talk. Yeah, nerdy dirty talk. Oh man. We should remember where we are. Your pulse racing, you move to step away from him. But before you can, he tightens the grip on your hand, pulls you down against the well where you're fully out of view. What's gotten into you? I have something to say, Duchess, an apology. You stare up at him in confusion, your heart still thudding in your chest. What is he talking about? An apology for waltzing with me? Not for the dance, but for my behavior last week. I've been trying to find the words to say this all night. No, ever since that night. There's a beseeching look in his eyes that you've never seen before. Reaching out, he takes your hand, his touch gentle. I see now how deeply you love your family, Sophie, how willing you are to do anything for them. I should never have been so selfish, nor been so upset at you as a result. Can you ever forgive me?
Nate, I forgive you. I can't stay mad at you.
I promise to ensure it'll never happen again.
With a coy grin, he presses you against the column, his warm breath gracing the exposed skin of your neck. But before he can make his next move, your husband and your mother head outside, making straight for your secluded spot. You hastily step away from him, smoothing the front of your gown. There you are, Sophie. People were wondering where the hostess ran off to.
You know how I hate to be the one to keep up appearances.
Apologies, Lawrence. I was just catching my breath.
I wanted to make sure the Duchess hadn't overexerted herself on the dance floor, Your Grace.
He catches your eye, sharing a knowing look. You feel the ghost of his hand at your waist once more. Lawrence waves his hand impatiently through the air, cutting Nate's explanation off uninterestingly.
Yes, fine. But what's all this him hearing about Lord Farrell proposed to the young cousin of the Comte's?
I tried to explain it to his grace. Perhaps you could shed some more light.
I hope so. It's all everyone is talking about. Why the devil did I go to great lengths to negotiate a proposal with Louise?
Dear husband, you're practically a hero for your generosity.
No, don't let him in on the plan.
I'll never forget how willing you were to help Louise, Lawrence. It was so generous and thoughtful of you. Our family will always owe you a debt of gratitude. Why, you are practically a hero.
By Gad, now that I think of it, I was rather heroic, wasn't I?
Dude, oh my god, you wouldn't know the definition of the word, let alone to spell it. A small snort of laughter escapes Nate's lips. You shoot him a repressive look. He quickly turns the laugh into a cough. See, Your Grace, all's well that ends well. Perhaps the two of you will allow me to congratulate my daughter alone.
Of course, I can show His Grace the refreshments the Duchess worked so hard on. Nate shares a longing glance with you before returning inside with the Duke. As soon as they're out of sight, you turn your attention to your mother.
Isn't it wonderful, Mama? Louise is saved. Actually, I'm afraid I need to talk to you about something serious, daughter. I've seen what's going on between you and Nate, and it has to stop immediately.
Oh, you ain't seen shit, woman.
Anyway, without further ado, thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And down in the description below, links to a bunch of things that you should check out. And ways to support me and the channel. With that being said, I get it. I already know where this is going. Your mom's upset with you, blah, 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 blah. You're putting everyone at risk, blah, 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 blah. She doesn't care about your happiness. All she does is care about wealth. Clearly, that was the whole reason for you marrying. However, if your sister marries the prince and you have a falling out with the duke, then it won't really matter. That's all you need to do to explain it to her, but, you know, they gotta insert some drama from the theater into this garbage. So, without further ado, that's my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts down below, but without further ado, I'll catch y'all later. Peace out.